If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and we are back for day 3 of the 12 days of metal, where myself and other YouTubers that love metal talk about a favorite album from a particular subgenre of heavy metal. And for day number 3, so far, day 1, we talked about classic / traditional heavy metal. Day 2 was all about doom metal. Now we're going to get into some faster territory for day 3, which is going to be speed metal. Now, I kind of touched on it a little bit during the doom metal episode that pretty much once classic metal was established in the 70s, towards the end of the decade with the new wave of British heavy metal, you saw metal kind of split off into two directions when it comes down to the tempo. You had the slower, Sabbath-influenced bands, and then you had the bands that kind of wanted to play a little bit faster and a little more aggressive. And I would associate that side of new wave of British heavy metal with speed metal, when things were getting snottier and faster, heavier, more aggressive, and a little more tougher sounding. So I figured, for me, the album that I think kind of encapsulates everything about speed metal, and of course it has to be really one of the pioneers of the genre, Motorhead, and I went with the classic Ace of Spades. While sure, not all the songs on this album are speed metal forward, but a good chunk of it has still got some very fast stuff going on. Of course, the title track, Ace of Spades, that is a classic to this day. But even other fast songs like Fast and Loose, The Hammer, I believe also Bite the Bullet has some moments in there too. We Are the Road Crew has that kind of sound. Love Me Like a Reptile. And yeah, there are songs that fit more into the classic heavy metal sound of songs like The Chase is Better Than the Catch, Live to Win, but also even more speed tracks like Jailbait and Shoot You in the Back. Yeah, there's a lot of fast, speedy stuff on here, but a good chunk of classic heavy metal oriented material as well. But yeah, just everything, Lemmy's bass tone being just super distorted and nasty, and of course his vocals, kind of pioneering the more gruffer vocal approach that a lot of bands, including Venom, which I could have went with Venom Black Metal for this episode too, just because it's very much in the similar vein of Ace of Spades, but even heavier. But even the drum work of Filthy Animal Phil Taylor, just absolutely killer, and Eddie Clark's guitar work, not only coming up with great riffs, but some killer leads on here too. And also that album cover of all three of them looking like the Three Amigos, but without the sombreros, ready to kick some ass and kill some people. So, yeah, and this particular version's the 2020 Sanctuary reissue, but still it's pretty cool. But yeah, I kind of figured I would go with a Motorhead album for speed metal, because after all, the genre pretty much started with Motorhead to some degree. But of course, that's my pick, and my opinion. Let's see how my cohorts feel about it, as well as, well, what did they choose?
What's up, guys? It's just Josh here today for speed metal, day 3 of the 12 days of metal. My pick for speed metal is Ace of Spades by Motorhead, their 4th album released in 1980. And yeah, speed metal is another genre I never really delved into too much, but I definitely know this album. And yeah, everybody knows Motorhead. Obviously, everybody knows Ace of Spades, the song, but there's a lot more to this album than just the title track. You get slower jams on here, such as The Chase is Better Than the Catch, and then more upbeat songs like, of course, the title track and Love Me Like a Reptile. Some great bluesy riffs here and there as well. This is definitely a good taste of classic metal. Lemmy and crew just kill it on this album. Of course, rest in peace to Lemmy and the other Motorhead members that we've lost throughout the years. Sad to say, I don't really remember their names offhand. I never got I was never like a super fan of Motorhead. I liked them obviously, but I never got into, or I never listened to their discography. Let's put it that way. But again, I kind of new to this metal thing. Only been listening to metal seriously for about 4 years, give or take. So there's a lot of classic bands that I've heard some albums, but I haven't delved into the whole discography, and Motorhead is definitely one of those bands where I gotta fix that. But yeah, my pick for speed metal, Motorhead, Ace of Spades.
Favorite speed metal record. Now, before we go forward, to distinguish speed metal and separate it from thrash metal, the element we're looking at is the removal of the punk rock influence as found in thrash metal, plus a removal, less harsher vocals, more cleaner vocals, more professionally trained vocals, I guess if you would say, more of a technical element, more new wave British heavy metal. So, anyways, onto the record. My favorite speed metal record is Megadeth's 1990 effort, Rust in Peace. All right, it's a technical masterpiece. It's the debut of Megadeth's, to this day, Megadeth's best lineup. Title tracks are Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Hangar 18, of course, Tornado of Souls, the title track. Actually, every Lucretia, every song on this record from top to bottom is a banger. It is a tour de force of speed metal.
Well, I'm back. Like I said, you're going to be seeing me for the rest of this series from now on. So, moving on to day number 3, we're going to be tackling another subgenre that a lot of people might confuse it with thrash metal, which is kind of really more of a predecessor or more of a brother to thrash metal. Of course, I'm talking about speed metal, a genre that was kind of developed usually at the beginning of the new wave of British heavy metal with bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Motorhead, which to some extent, you can say those kind of bands are sort of speed metal bands in a way, kind of, sort of, maybe, depending on your perspective. But with speed metal, you can go a different ways. You can go from the Canadian side with Exciter. You can even go with probably somebody like X Japan, which I could have gone with X Japan, but they're mostly all over the place. But for this day, I chose an album that, in a way, was part of the new British heavy metal, basically, but has been more associated with black metal along the way. But his roots were kind of originally developed in that good old speed metal. Of course, I'm talking about Venom with their debut album, Welcome to Hell. I mean, when you have an album that, by the start from the album cover, when you have an album that has the fucking pentagram on it as your debut album, you know this is gonna get a lot of people in stores and get the living crap out without even listening to it. That's where it'll start. When you have songs like Sons of Satan, Welcome to Hell, of course, probably their most notable song next to something like black metal, in their discography, you know it's gonna be a hit. When you have probably one of my most underrated songs, favorites, Poison. When you love the metals, die Poison. It's one of those kick-ass songs that a lot of people really should give more into, listen to. In the Liquid Satan, another song that is a hit from Venom's discography. But the thing about Welcome to Hell at the time, you gotta think about it. This was in the early 80s when the whole satanic, Anthony LaVey was going on, where people wanted to provoke audiences thinking that they were actually satanic. It was more of a stage kind of thing, and Venom was one of the few bands that started this whole thing next to somebody like a Kiss, Alice Cooper, or even King Diamond, that took that satanic perspective, implemented not only in their lyrics, but in their stage presence, in their album covers. I mean, if you go back to maybe 1982, 1983, when Venom performed some of the songs from Welcome to Hell and Black Metal, you can see the stage kind of like the banner being a big Satan kind of Baphomet kind of figure in the background. And they even stated that they weren't really satanic. They just wanted to provoke people think they were satanic, which to their favor, a lot of Christians at the time were fucking going after Venom, being that they were the most satanic band in the world. And funny enough, they weren't the biggest satanic band in the world. That would come probably maybe like 5 years later when the whole Norwegian black metal scene, but that is a different story. But Welcome to Hell was one of the first albums that kind of give us a new perspective of what will eventually become speed metal, and maybe along the way inspire bands, thrash metal bands like a Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, so on and so forth, to implement what they learned from those albums and create something more unique. And Welcome to Hell, like I said, one of the first speed metal albums you can now honestly think of, and one of the reasons I chose Welcome to Hell on day number 3.
What's going on, guys? Bust Up A6 here, back to another video, and today I'm here to do the third day of days of metal. Now, on the second day of Christmas, Metal Christmas, my true love gave to me doom metal, and now what did my third true love of Christmas? She gave me speed metal. We're about to be a little bit faster here, folks, and oh man, this one was... I was really torn between two albums. Violent Restitution by Razor, or the album I ultimately went with, which is it's got to be Motorhead's Ace of Spades. Now, Violent Restitution, I was so close. I was thinking about putting it in another category, but I'm thinking to myself, no, it's more speed metal than thrash, but I had to go with Motorhead's Ace of Spades from 1980. I just think it is one of the best metal albums of all time. It's my second favorite Motorhead album besides Inferno from 2004. And I think it has one of the greatest metal songs of all time in the title track. And yeah, it's just everything on this album is absolutely amazing. You got the very ferocious stuff, but you also have some of the more bluesy country stuff going on too. Like you got like Jailbait, Shoot You in the Back, We Are the Roku, Love Me Like a Reptile is a really good track. There's so many really great songs. If I had to pick a favorite, it's got to be the title track. It's one of my favorite Motorhead songs of all time. It's a top 5 Motorhead song of all time. It is just from the opening, that and then that drum work from Filthy Animal Taylor, chef's kiss, yes ma'am. It's just amazing, just absolutely amazing. Like, this thing is just breakneck speed at full force. Now, how did I get into this album? I got into this album basically from the YouTube metal community, and not to mention going through their entire catalog, because I not only that, but I like listened to the radio and all that stuff, and this damn song was playing the entire time, and I'm just like, okay, I'll start listening to it, and I'm like, wow, I did not expect this album to be as great as it actually is. So yeah, that is how I found it, basically through the radio and through the metal YouTube community. What does this album mean to me? This is basically the ultimate, like, Western, like the ultimate country Western soundtrack. Like, if you were going to Texas, or you're going to like a farmland, and you ain't blaring this damn thing in your stereo, you are not doing it right. Because this thing is an absolute juggernaut in terms of speed metal. It is one of the finest albums in the 1980s, and it's one of the most influential albums of all time too, because this thing really kicked off a lot of speed metal acts. And what else do I need to say about this album that hasn't already been said? Long live Motorhead, long live Lemmy, a.k.a. God himself, and just absolutely amazing. So yeah, Motorhead, Ace of Spades is my pick for my favorite speed metal album. So I'm curious to see what your guys' favorite speed metal album is. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to say Motorhead, Ace of Spades, and you guys would not certainly be wrong. But I'm very curious, what is your favorite speed metal album? Let me know down in the comment section below. And, well, the next one's going to be more difficult because, oh boy, we're going to a very different territory with this next one. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, join the herd. I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace out.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the 12 Days of Metal. Hope you guys enjoyed the following albums that we've talked about on this episode, and I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas indeed. Horns high. See you guys in the new year.